I'm slowly being convinced by Zane that empathy is actually going to win over the world, and the first world is going to help the third world. But
Yes, Dr. Naika?
So, what do you think about gender equality? Do you have a view on that?
well, I think that gender equality is just as important as racial equality that has been talked about a lot, especially in Africa. It has been talked about a lot and put down a lot of time. Equality in terms of sex, I think, is also a very important kind of discussion because women have been pushed down for years and there's this kind of stigmatization and women are kept at home because they have always been thought of as housekeepers, people who don't have any sort of job except to be at home to take care of the children while males do all the real work. And that was actually how it actually worked back in 400 or the days of the Roman Empire, I'd say. Back then, all the women had to do was stay at home and feed the children. They had no sort of job, and still women are sometimes turned down in countries that don't have this kind of sense of equity. So that is a very important issue, and I feel the gender equality in terms of women being pushed down is actually a very important issue, and that it needs to be fixed and focused on just as much as racial equality. And so my views on gender equality is that it still needs some fixing because it had been neglected. Racial equity, we have been trying to fix it, especially here in the West for the past few years, but gender equity has still not been touched on because the gender equity wasn't as big of an issue back then, but now it's really becoming an issue because now we need futures. We need more people who are geniuses, and some people don't have the opportunity to do that because they are women and they don't have the time or money, or they are always turned down by others because of this kind of issue. So we are getting so many geniuses and hard workers that are being turned down just because of this gender equity issue. And this sort of connects into what Dr. Mabenda has said about wasted talent. So I feel like it's a very important issue and should definitely be touched on in the future.
So I want to, typically in a Da Vinci style, take the discussion on this matter to a different level, Professor Bari. So could you consider that when we talk gender and gender equality, that we could be trapped in a duality where we think of males and females? Do we see an emergence of other genders?
You can say you don't have an answer.